you believe in ghosts?
This is the night when fear and horror walk hand in hand.
This is Black Sabbath.
Starring the incomparable Boris Karloff, the personable Mark Damon, and lush and lovely women, even though one is from the netherworld, a vampire, a Vurdalak. Black Sabbath, as ancient as superstition, as modern as the telephone.
How nice you look with that towel around you. You always did have a beautiful body. Beautiful. A body to drive someone crazy.
Who are you? Who?
Black Sabbath, the bare truth about the unbelievable, such as the brilliant beauty of a priceless jewel that holds within the body of a buzzing fly a vengeful woman's murderous spirit. Only on the seventh night of the seventh full moon can the living see the lifeless undead.
I am hungry.
Is he man or vampire? An adventure into black magic that goes beyond the boundaries of the supernatural. And a man's devoted love is welcomed by a woman's deadly lust for his blood.
Good evening, goblins and ghouls, and welcome to the Wednesday night Scream Stream Mini-sodes. I'm your host, Spakenstein, joined as always by my very good friend, Mr. Evan Sink. How we doing tonight, Evan?
It's me, Evan.
For a second I thought we had Mario in the studio. It's still Evan.
It's me, Chris Pratt.
Oh, that too. Oh, of course. Yeah, that sounds very much like Chris Pratt. Definitely doesn't sound like Mario, if you ask me. But I'm not even gonna wade into that controversy. I want no part in it. I know some people are very take that very seriously, but I'm not even gonna engage in that.
It's a whole can of worms. Just not gonna.
Can of worms. We're a horror movie stream over here. Specifically,
the stream just began. We're already off topic.
You know, certainly we get into current events. We get into hot topics here. That's one of the best things about the stream. But mainly we're here to watch some public domain horror. Specifically on Wednesdays, some public domain horror TV. But we touch on everything here. I pride ourselves on the fact that we don't just stick to what the show's all about. We can veer off. That's the beauty of our own live show on Twitch. We can just veer off into whatever tangent we want to, and touch on fun things.
We can
like
talk about
events.
things from this millennium, not just from 1958.
Not just from the 50s and the 40s and the 30s and sometimes the 20s, much to the chagrin of some of our loyal viewers and even some of the people on this show. And even myself, because sometimes I don't even enjoy the silent movies, but that's a whole other thing. That's another controversy I don't want to get into right now. But thank you guys for joining us tonight. Again, gonna enjoy another classic episode of The Veil, an unaired paranormal TV anthology series starring Boris Karloff. And you know, I hate that once again Fresh is out. As you can see, he's black and white here over on the side. MIA again. He's getting back. He's disposed at the moment. But he's trying to get back on the grid. It's been doing a little bit of movement. But as soon as he's settled, we'll get him back on the reg. We'll try to get him back in sooner if we can. We'll see what we can do. But for now, unfortunately, Fresh is MIA. So if you've been looking at the black and white picture and you're new to the show and you don't know what's going on, that's not a dead person. That's just our buddy Fresh, who normally joins us, but again, he's been busy as of late, so hasn't been able to tune in and share how much he loves The Veil, because if you go back and watch some of our past episodes of The Veil on our YouTube
he always
page,
made it very clear how much he loved this show.
You can see how much Fresh loves the show, and he tweets about his love for the show, and he's hating that he's missing it right now, and I hate that he's missing it too. But this is just, this is where we find ourselves, But it's all for the best. He'll be back soon. So until then, we're holding down the fort. Hopefully, he'll be back in before we're done. Yeah, I think he'll get in like the last episode or two before we're done with The Veil, because we're closing in on the end. This is episode 9. I believe.
Yeah, 9 out of, what was it? 10? 11?
11. Yeah, 11. So,
not many left.
No,
we're looking forward to the climactic season finale of The Veil, which I know is... This is all going somewhere, I think. I think it's leading up to something.
Well, you know how these anthology shows are. None of the episodes may connect, but that doesn't mean that it's not all building to some great, amazing finale. So we'll see what
we're just waiting for the big crossover.
Treated to. What crossover?
Well, they at the end of every anthology series, they always tie everything together. They bring all the characters together, just put them all in the same room.
Ah, yes. Oh, okay, yeah. Like they all somehow meet, or like there's some kind of weird scenario. They're all in the same room. Maybe they're in line at the DMV. I don't know. Could be a very boring finale. Who knows? Who knows what we're in store for? Maybe it's just all the characters coming together and sitting in the waiting room of The Veil and just talking about all the crazy shit that happened to them. In summary, here's what the entire show was all about. It's just recaps of past episodes. It's
a clip show.
It's a clip show. Yeah, wouldn't that be? That would be very much in line with how this show has played so far. The very last episode.
That's why this never made it to air. Right. They ran out of steam at the end of the first season.
Mm-hmm. Ran out of steam, and so, it kind of did. I mean, my goodness. The freaking studio got bankrupt. That's probably why they tried to salvage with the last episode with a clip show. No. We'll see. Hopefully it's not a clip show, but who knows? Again, I have full disclosure, I have seen most of these before. But it's been a long time, so I don't really remember them super well. So, like tonight's episode, for example, Destination Nightmare. Cool title. Don't really remember.
Cool title.
Very cool title. Don't really remember what happens. Don't remember what Karloff's role is. I know there's like planes involved, something. That's it. So, I'm in for a treat tonight. We're all in for a treat tonight. Who knows what exciting paranormal or supernatural experiences in store. I'm sure it's somebody seeing something, some kind of premonition, or that's usually what it's been, right? It's usually just a premonition, some small isolated premonition. Last week's episode was more like a prolonged I don't know, last week's episode, the return of Madame Verneuil was it dealt with interesting themes, but it was still kind of like it went all over the place and then it was just done. It was like, well, that's a bummer. Like, didn't learn what happened with Madame Verneuil.
Also, it was a true story. I think that actually happened.
Yeah, that's how we're supposed to accept the end of every episode, is that, well, we don't have any clear answers on this ending, but it happens, and everybody who experienced it just moved on with their lives, so that's that.
It didn't have an ending because the ending hasn't happened yet. That woman's she's still coming back.
Coming back at you. Yeah, who knows? We'll see. I mean, again, wouldn't that be great? Maybe we get more answers in the last episode. Doubtful. Not going to happen. But wouldn't it be nice?
They're saving all of the really satisfying endings for that clip show.
Right. We could only be so lucky. We'll see though. Probably not, but we're not quite there yet. We still got a couple more episodes to relish. And tonight's episode, again, Destination Nightmare, certainly should be interesting. Boris Karloff, I imagine, is just going to get into another meaty role to really, stretch his acting chops to their limits, as he was wont to do at this time in his career. And last week he I don't even know what he was last week. Like
he was a professor.
He was a Yeah, he's been very what's the word? Not domestic. Like what he's been like professor, lawyer, cop. Has he been a doctor?
Yeah. He's always been like an authority figure.
Yeah, some kind of authority figure.
Somebody important.
Yep. Yeah, that's right. So I imagine we're not going to deviate too much from the form here. We'll see what important man of good standing he is this time, because I'm sure he's not a villain. We've only gotten that a couple times. It's been all right. It's been fun. But I think Karloff is definitely, I don't know. The thing is, Karloff definitely makes a villain like his own. And so it's like, it's fun, but it's also the different kind of villain than you get from somebody like Lugosi, who is just fully relishing being the villain. Karloff is usually like, he's kind of like tormented and tortured, and so it's kind of, sometimes it can be kind of a slog, just depending on the character. But he played a pretty evil ship captain so far, so that was kind of nice, but we haven't really got to see him play the bad guy, so yeah,
come to think of it, there haven't really, I mean, as far as villains go, what exactly have we been working with for here for the most part? It's usually just some weird thing that's happening. It's not really like a bad guy.
Yeah, it was pretty much just the murderous ship captain. Well, okay, hold on. Couple things.
There was the guy, the burglar that murdered that woman.
The burglar that murdered the woman was Soupy. And then the first episode there was the chick who murdered her brother-in-law. Remember that?
Yeah, that's true.
So we
that's
had a
true.
couple murders. There was that Dick brother. I mean, he didn't murder anybody, but he did forge a will. Or I don't know if he forged a will, but he was just a dick trying to put his mom in an old folks home. But that was not necessarily villain, not necessarily evil. So I don't know that we'll get any villain in this, but who knows? Maybe we'll be surprised. So
I'm excited. I've been looking forward to this episode.
I'm excited too. Good title, so hopefully it'll be meaty, full of a little intrigue, maybe a couple scares. So I think if we're ready to get into it,
yeah, let's get going.
All right, then we're gonna get into Destination Nightmare right now. Oh, different opening. Weird.
Yeah. Whoa.
Really weird.
What you're about to see is based on an actual experience.
In a different room this time.
Completely different.
You can try. But I do think you'd be interested in exploring with me that strange world that lies behind the veil.
Not quite as interesting as the giant fireplace behind him.
It's a curious thing, but it often happens.
Castle.
Yeah.
When a young man is trying to decide what his life's work is going to be, it's sometimes a sensitive time for both father and son. Our story takes place in Europe, where Peter Wade has established a thriving air service.
It's always a sensitive time when your son tells you that he wants to go to drama school.
I want to be an actor.
I don't want to fly planes, Papa.
I'm gonna check the cargo. I'll check it. No, we keep a heading on 145. Don't drift around to the north. Those ridges come up at you awful fast.
You gotta love a good fake plane cockpit. You know, like people, some fucking crew member outside, like rocking the walls back and forth.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Okay. Here we go. We've got another premonition.
Yep. Classic Veil. Doing what it does.
Look at me. Look at me. Look at me.
Look at me.
Look at me.
Do you think they covered this in pilot school?
Yes. I think this is part of your like simulation training. Some giant like Wizard of Oz type head comes up and says, "Look at me."
Follow me.
Follow me, and you're not supposed to follow him. It's a trap.
135. 135.
It's like some alien bullshit. It's a UAP. Ah! The eyes!
Like if Alex Jones shows up in the window of your plane, don't follow him.
Mm-hmm. Especially when he says follow me. Don't do it.
He says, I have some supplements to sell you.
Pete! Pete! What are you doing? Pete, let go. Let go, you hear?
Let go, you hear?
Let go. Let go. Pete! Pete!
Give him the judo chop.
I mean, you can't be, I don't know, you got cargo to deliver, precious cargo. You can't be dilly-dallying on some excursion, fall some giant head in the sky.
Nothing can prepare you for when your son tells you, Dad, I want to be a terrorist.
Well,
Dad, you know the whole story.
Yeah, Karloff's the dad.
No good bottling these things up. You know that.
There is nothing to bottle up.
I'm trying very hard to understand, very hard indeed.
Well, don't try, because you can't understand. You're not the type.
You don't get it,
You're the guy
Dad.
that doesn't quit until he wins.
Oh, no. Not until I win. Until I've earned the right to go on to the next thing. It's just as simple as that.
I got to use my talent, not yours.
Just tell me one thing. Why did you deliberately head for a crash?
Whoa.
I can't explain that. Even if I could, you wouldn't understand it.
Were you sick? Is he? Or just plain scared?
Dad, some people are good at one thing and bad at another. I'm a washout as a flyer. And I probably can't run this company. But I can design.
I'm not gonna be a pilot just because you want me to be,
because I've
Dad.
got the talent, and you know it. And furthermore, I've got the desire. 2 more years of graduate school, I'll have my degree. Now, this is something that I can do.
Wait, degree in what? I must have missed it.
I don't think he said.
I'll get my degree, nondescript degree, and do a nondescript profession. I just need a degree.
Boardroom works. And if and when you feel you've really earned the right to go to graduate school, it'll be right there.
Ooh.
Man, I'm just trying to face facts about myself. Now, is that being a quitter?
Only you can answer that. But let me tell you one thing. Doubt in any area is malignant. It grows. It can destroy anything you do.
It can become a destination nightmare. Oh, he said it.
Is this the first episode that Karloff hasn't had his mustache?
I think the ship captain he didn't.
Dad, I'm sorry. There's a lot of other things involved.
Oh yeah, because he had mutton chops in that
Yeah,
one,
he
or
did.
like sideburns.
Yep. Yeah, it looks kind of weird without his mustache.
What? No, no, no. Wally.
This man even acts in his sleep.
Amazing.
They're hit. They're out. Jump, everybody, jump.
Godzilla.
No. That shoot, you can't. Shot full of holes, no good. Wally. What? No,
Dad,
don't
wait.
die.
Dad.
Oh.
You all right?
Yes. Yes, I'm all right. Just the breathing, that's all.
What was it this time?
Oh, nothing. Why are you still up?
Dad, who's Wally?
Who?
Yeah, you were calling out his name.
I was?
Yeah, who was he?
I don't know.
Dad, Wally died in that crash, didn't he?
Yes, of course he died. But we have to talk about it now. It's the middle of the night.
Well, I'm wide awake, Dad, obviously. I still got on my
Good night, Dad.
freaking pants that are, a
My-
foot over my belly
My
button.
home khakis.
My home khakis. This is my evening wear.
Well, that wasn't a very good example, was it?
Mm-hmm.
Only this afternoon I told you not to bottle things up. Well,
Coming in for a father-son heart-to-heart.
Yeah.
you wanted to know about Wally Huffler. Jerry fighters hit us. I ordered everybody out.
Where was that, over Grenoble?
No, further north, near Lyon. I've been back to the waist to jump, and Wally was there.
With a useless shoot.
Ooh.
And he took it?
Well, I told him that I could ride the plane down safely, which of course I did.
This was after Wally jumped.
Yeah, after Wally jumped. Watched him fall. The chute didn't open.
Ooh. Rough.
No wonder you have nightmares.
It's not as bad as all that.
Dan, what kind of a guy was he? What did he look like?
Plain, ordinary looking.
He looked like an old man's disembodied head.
Why all this
Sound familiar?
Oh, it's nothing. It's you. These nightmares. Maybe you need a rest or something.
Oh, no, I'll be all right. Still going to New York in the morning?
Oh, I don't know, Dad.
Want to talk about it?
Let's talk about it in the morning.
Good night.
Good night, Dad.
What, you don't know if you're going to New York from Europe? Like, what do you mean you don't know? You just make that decision up and like, I don't think you could just at the drop of a hat. I don't know, maybe it was easier back in those days. I guess they have a plane that just fucking go. Lucky guys, I guess. You got a plane, you just get.
Yeah,
where
I guess you don't
to
need a
go.
ticket if you just have a plane.
Nope, no ticket. Oh, gonna see a picture of Wally, huh?
Just a couple of young men.
Yep,
A couple of
very
young airmen.
Very young. Where is that? Is that about halfway? Yeah, nah, not quite. We'll see. I bet you there's probably another fade out coming in the next minute or two.
We'll take the next one.
We'll take the next one. Exactly. What?
I'm not sure.
It's Grenoble, isn't it?
Uh-huh. What now?
Well, let's see. We were on a heading of about 145, weren't we?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, I'll take over.
No, don't let him take over. You know what's gonna happen.
All right.
He's like, I got a bad feeling about this. and rightfully so.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be getting back in a plane with this guy after what happened last
not.
time.
No fucking way.
You see anything?
Nothing.
Well, I guess I'm wrong. It's not the same now.
Huh?
You might as well go on home, huh?
What the fuck were you guys doing? You're just trying to test the premonition?
Okay, I'll take it. Why don't you get some coffee, Bill? It's in the back.
He's gotta
I'll
be
be all right.
in the back. He can't. Bill's gotta be away for the. It's shy.
It's a shy ghost.
Shy ghost.
Just lock him out.
Yep, got him.
What do you think you're doing? Open up, Pete, open up.
I'm sorry,
Oh,
Bill.
God. Not again.
Don't fight up.
Bill, if anything goes wrong, bail out.
Pete, you listen to me.
You might as well relax.
It's okay. I went ahead and shot your parachute full of holes. Oh wait, you weren't supposed to know.
Pete? You all right? Answer me.
Look at
Oh, it's you again.
Look at me.
You're back.
Follow me. 1, 3, 5. 1, 3, 5. 1, 3, 5. 1, 3, 5. 1, 3, 5.
1, 3.
I think
5.
all ghosts should open with "Look at me, look at me."
Yeah, that would be great. I mean, what more of an excuse do you need? I mean, not that they're a ghost or anything, but you know, and they're saying, "Look at me." You're certainly going to be more inclined to look at them. Let's just go ahead and take a break right here. I don't know. It's been taking a while, so we'll just get right there. Take a quick break. Because, you know, who the fuck knows what this ghost wants right now? Who knows what 135 look at me means? I mean, I imagine Karloff knows. So, who knows what this ghost is actually going to lead Karloff's son to? That's it could be.
Can it be anything good?
It can't be anything good. You wouldn't think so, right? I mean, I don't know. Maybe, what's the dude's name?
Maybe Wally's still alive. He's just been hanging out this whole time.
Exactly. Wally survived his fall. And yeah, maybe this is going to lead him to Wally. Who knows? It's going to have a
He's
happy
been stuck
ending.
in a tree this whole time.
Yep. I was able to survive off of, you know, every time a squirrel ran by, I was just able to grab it with my bare hands and snap its neck, and just survived off of raw squirrel meat for 40 years. God, no.
Raw squirrel meat and pine sap.
I mean, I don't know. What war are they talking about? World War? It can't be World War II. Certainly, there's no way Karloff is expected to have, you know, been a young man fighting in World War II. So you gotta assume
Well, I don't know, judging by that picture.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, that's the picture makes it
Hard to say. Hard to say.
For sure. Hard to say. Yeah, old man with a, you know, relatively young son. But that's actually kind of true to Karloff's life. He only had one child. He had a daughter, Sarah Karloff, and she, I think, was born when he was like 50. He was old, and he was on the set of Son of Frankenstein when she was born. So
missed the birth.
Yeah, he did. Well, I think he had to rush. I don't think it's true. I don't think he rushed over to the hospital in Frankenstein makeup, but but I feel like I heard that rumor for sure at some point. And I know that they share the same birthday. His daughter was born on his birthday, so that's
wow. He was working on his birthday.
Yes, sir, working man. I mean, you got to think these guys, him and Lugosi, could take breaks for their birthdays. What more fun could they be having on their birthday than working? I mean, they loved what they did, and so certainly didn't feel like they needed the day off on their birthdays, like most entitled, privileged people do nowadays. It's my birthday. Nope.
I don't want to go to work.
I don't want to put on this hours-long Frankenstein costume makeup and go through this whole process. It's my birthday. No. You think Karloff could do that? No, he couldn't. But yeah. So Karloff, I think Karloff's daughter's still alive, and she has carried on her father's legacy and made convention appearances and licenses his image and all this stuff. So she's a good steward of his of his namesake, of his, you know, image, of all that good stuff. So, but I mean, Karloff, and what is this? This show came out around 58. So his daughter's probably about 20 years old at this time, probably close age to the character playing his child in this episode. So Karloff could probably relate to fatherhood in this moment, I'm sure.
Probably based on a true story.
Probably not too far off. Probably didn't have to go too far to channel those emotions. But Karloff, again, last week we had gone about 5 years after The Veil, as far as talking about Karloff's career. You know, we saw the trailer for The Raven, and so, you know, he was getting into Roger Corman work and working for American International Pictures. So we saw the trailer for Black Sabbath at the beginning of this episode, which was it was like an Italian-American co-production with American International Pictures and an Italian company. And the director was Mario Bava, who is a, you know, very famous Italian genre director. And I was telling him, I haven't seen it all the way. Like, I haven't paid attention to it when I have tried to watch it, but it looks like a very good movie. Again, the trailer looks really cool. Definitely some scary scenes. And Karloff, you know, Evan was saying Karloff, you know, maybe not the, you know, he could see why Karloff probably didn't play a vampire too often. It certainly doesn't have the vampire charisma per se. Not in the way definitely that Lugosi has. But he makes it work.
I think part of that was on the makeup team too. He didn't really look like a vampire in that trailer.
No, he was shaggy and bags under his eye. No, not like a commanding vampire. Very frail. And I think that's the whole thing, is he's like a frail, sickle man, but he's also secretly a vampire.
He looked more like a transient than a
I think
vampire.
It takes place. I don't know if that story takes place it doesn't take place in Russia, but that part of the movie, that story, because it's an anthology, there's different stories, and that story in the movie, I'm not sure, it takes place, I think, in some other country. Can't remember exactly.
Does he win in the end when they bring all the characters from the anthology together?
Yes, you know he wins. Of course, he always wins. He always wins, just like in the trailer for the movie that we're going to see during this break. I would say he definitely wins in this film. It's a 1963. It's the same year as Black Sabbath. It's a movie called Comedy of Terrors, which is a horror comedy. It was also by American International Pictures. And Karloff doesn't have necessarily a big role, but it's got other mainstays in it. Vincent Price, Peter Lorre, and Basil Rathbone. So they balance it out. And everybody's having fun. So it's a fun trailer. So that, you know, Karloff was kind of winding things down at this point in his career, but he was having fun, and this was definitely one of those last efforts. So we're going to see this trailer for Comedy of Terrors, and then when we get back, we're going to get into the exciting conclusion of Destination Nightmare. So stick around. We'll be right back.
Starring Vincent Price, who, inspired by a seductive woman, is overpowered with lust to kill. Peter Lorre, too sensitive for both the life he lives and the lives he takes.
Butterfingers.
Boris Karloff, the ancient one, with a fount of sweet memories.
Alexander the Great embalmed in honey, so they say.
Abundantly blessed, Joyce Jameson, an unhappy unkissed bride.
Aren't you coming to bed, husband?
Rhubarb, the cat in the house of unholy horror. Amazing Joey Brown, shockingly amazed. And inimitable Basil Rathbone,
Haven't you, sir?
whose wrath will slash you to the bone. A mad killer, like the angel of death, stalks his next victim.
You're here because you're dead, Mr. Black.
The hell I am.
Is this a comedy or okay, comedy of terrors?
Yes, it is a comedy of terrors, and it's a fun movie. It's not very scary, I will tell you that. You know,
I like the sound effects.
yeah, the trailer is full of very dumb sound effects. I don't know if the movie does the movie have sound effects. The movie might actually have dumb sound effects too. At least in the beginning anyway. But it's a fun movie. Karloff was, fun fact about that movie, Karloff was actually supposed to play the role that Basil Rathbone played, which is the guy who was, I don't know if you saw it in the trailer, but he's running around in a red robe. Karloff was supposed to play that role.
Swinging the sword around.
Yeah, and Karloff, meanwhile, he's playing this old father who's basically like out of it the whole movie, sitting at a table asking for his medicine, and Vincent Price is trying to poison him the whole time. It's really funny. It doesn't sound funny, but it is funny. But Karloff was supposed to play the busier role of Mr. Black, but because of his health and because his he was having trouble with his back and having trouble walking, and the Mr. Black role required a lot of running around and a lot of kind of strenuous activity. So yeah, and Rathbone was apparently supposed to play the other role, so I think it actually worked out for him that because Basil Rathbone, kind of also known outside of his horror movies and his Sherlock Holmes movies. I mean, he was also in the well-known Hollywood Robin Hood from the late 30s. He played Robin Hood's nemesis, right? So he's he did a lot of sword fighting, and he was in a lot of movies like that where he was playing kind of a villain or some kind of rogue, and so he did a lot of and so he did a lot of that kind of stunt work. It was something that was definitely in his wheelhouse, so it was funny they made that switch. Apparently that's true. I don't know. I heard that in some behind the scenes documentary, I believe. And but yeah, Karloff was definitely having to wind it down at this point because his legs and his back were kind of all worn out from especially the Frankenstein, the first Frankenstein movie kind of messed up his back for life. And then he had leg problems and all this shit. So he's starting to scale it back, unfortunately. And, next week we'll see trailers. I think some we've maybe already seen before at this point, but yeah. I think Comedy of Terrors might be on Tubi. The Raven is on Tubi. So if you want to check out The Raven, go check out The Raven. But can't remember if Comedy of Terrors is on Tubi or not. Probably not, but definitely, you can find a lot of Karloff movies all over the place. So celebrate him this month, if anything. We're going to continue our celebration by getting into the exciting conclusion of Destination Nightmare. I have got it ready to go. I'm at 1445, Evan.
Perfect.
All right. Well, we're going to get into it right now. Shit.
Wally, take the wheel.
Yeah, seriously. Don't be giving that credit to Jesus. It was all Wally.
Pete, open up!
Bail out. Oh shit. You better hope you got more than one parachute. Bail out, bail out. Uh-oh. At least his chute opened. You know that. It's like, Pete, you idiot.
Yeah, this would be a pretty bummer ending if he just jumped out and died.
Yeah. And that's the end.
Well, we can't explain that.
Can't explain that. Definitely took a trip to the Vale. Behind the veil, excuse me. Perfect landing. All right, what's this building to? Ooh, that's kind of eerie looking. Ooh, what is he gonna find? A skeleton? Skeleton. Skeleton. He survived the crash. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, what the fuck?
So what? He said that he brought the plane down.
Tell me what you did.
I know, I'm sorry.
Yesterday was bad enough. But this last thing, bailing out of the mountains like that.
You want to know why? The reason I headed for that mountain? The reason I bailed out? I saw something in the plane. A reflection in the windshield. The reflection of a man's face.
What do you mean?
This face. That's right, Wally Huffner.
The
I heard
ghost
his
of
voice.
Wally.
It was hypnotic. It made me do what I did. All right, don't believe me. But it made me take a heading of 135.
Oh, Pete, for the love of...
Now, wait a minute, let me finish. He made me bail out. And I found something. The wreck of a B-17 with one of these on it. And inside I found this.
Ooh.
What'd you find?
With a serial number on it. 01636184. Do I have to tell you whose chute this is? No, of course not. It's yours. Here, look at it. Look at the holes, 4, 5, 6 of them. Bullet holes. Well, you don't understand. You see, you told me that you were in that plane alone. Everybody else had bailed out. Dad, a man died in that crash. Carlo Menzetti.
No.
What?
Carlo Menzetti was Wally.
Wally Huffner?
Carlo Menzetti was his cover identity.
He was an intelligence agent?
Yeah. We were supposed to drop him near Torino and up his... But it's incredible. How did you find that ship?
I told you that. The point is this. You told me that you brought that ship down safely. Now, you couldn't have, not in that little valley.
He called it a ship?
Don't you see? All these things just don't add up to what you told me last night.
Last night, I was trying to protect you.
Protect me?
From further reasons for doubting yourself. My own uncertainties.
What have your uncertainties got to do with me?
You think that I took Wally's parachute. Saved my own neck at the expense of his life.
Well, it's true. You took somebody's parachute.
Yes, it was Wally's. The ship had been hit and he was badly hurt.
But not dead.
No. I killed him.
Oh.
What?
We were over enemy territory. He had orders not to be taken by the Wehrmacht, and in his breast pocket he had a capsule. He insisted that I give it to him.
And you did?
The plane was losing altitude. We were drifting in fast over those mountains. There was very little time to think. Oh, I had so many doubts and uncertainties. I even filed a false report with the OSS, saying it had been hit by flak.
What do you mean, doubts?
Maybe I should have tried harder to get Wally out of that plane.
But you said that he insisted on that capsule.
Yes, but why? Was he really afraid of recapture? Or was he sacrificing himself for me? He was capable of that.
Dad, that Italian parachute that they gave Wally, that would only hold one person, right?
That
Yes,
Italian
had it.
parachute.
But he couldn't even have pulled the rein. Not wounded the way he was.
I'm very confused.
I think Wally may have helped us both. I'll leave this check here. At least for now.
So I guess
I may on the right.
Wally's ghost knows that this guy feels guilty about Wally's death, and so he gets his son to help him realize that he couldn't have done anything after all, and that it's okay.
Was that it?
So
Was
far
that-
as Pete Jr. is concerned, there's no question about the apparition of Wally Huffner. He saw it. It happened. How it happened? No man can tell. I mean, of course, no living man. Won't you join me again for another journey into that unknown world that lies behind the veil?
Oh my
Great.
God.
Why did the ghost need a middleman? If he was trying to, like, clear things up with his old war buddy, why didn't he just appear to him?
I don't know. That was definitely a
That one was a little more out there.
confusing episode for me. I think I can sum it up by saying I don't think Fresh would have liked this episode. It looks like at this point, I don't know if this was produced like early in the run, like before they got like the set and they were able to like start doing
Before they got the
stuff.
fireplace set up.
Before they got the fireplace. I don't know if this is pre that or if this is after that. Maybe they lost funding, but they were still trying to like get it some episodes in. I don't know.
After the fireplace got repoed.
I don't know. This was this
one's an enigma. It's kind of a thinker.
Yeah, it's a big thinker. It's hard for me to connect the dots on this one. I can't really say that. I think Evan did a pretty good job. Evan, I think you did a pretty solid job of summing it up. I don't think that I could.
I think that's at least how I'm interpreting it. But
I think that's pretty spot on. I don't think I could say it any better myself. It's just kind of, a lot going on, a lot of dots to connect.
Turns out the cure for wartime PTSD is ghosts.
Of course, ghosts are the answer. It's better. It's the perfect solution. That's how you come to grips with your trauma. You see some ghosts. You figure out how to stop
somebody tell the VA,
ghosts.
I guess.
Yep, let them know. The ghost method would be very, very helpful and inventive. Nobody thinks of ghosts as being the answer, but start seeing ghosts in a different light. It's October, people. Get with it.
Legalize medicinal ghosts.
Come on, get with it. Ghosts have been the answer to all life's problems for years. People are only just now discovering all the benefits that you can get from being haunted by your own ghost. We live in amazing times. So, we'll see.
What a nightmare.
What a nightmare. Certainly, I think you can sum it up that way. Yeah. Any time there's, I don't know. There's a lot going on. Anytime there's a lot to follow, it's it can't always be as simple as looking into a crystal ball and seeing your ex-girlfriend cheating around on her current husband. That's some juicy.
Yeah, I don't know if this one
drama.
quite lived up to I was expecting a lot just from the very cool title.
The title was good. Yep, certainly would have expected more from Destination Nightmare, but it sounds like they just took two words that certainly can be used to describe the plot and they just put them together to make the title.
Yeah.
Because, there was a destination involved and there was a nightmare involved. So, Destination Nightmare. That's all right.
There we go.
There you go. That's how you get it.
Well, there's always next week.
There's always next week, which I don't have it pulled up. I X'd off. What is next week's title?
Next week's might actually be pretty interesting. It's Jack the Ripper. We might get another murderer.
Is next week Jack the Ripper?
That's episode 10 on this.
What's episode 11?
Episode 11 is Whatever Happened to Peggy.
I don't know. Maybe we're. Hold on. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. We might have an extra episode in. Like, we may need. I don't know if we're going to watch that Peggy one. There's one of them that isn't. Or maybe there's something after that. I don't know.
I mean, in this playlist, there's a hour-long...
Yeah, no, we're not watching that. We're watching the Peggy thing. Yeah. So we got two more. So we got
okay.
So the Jack the Ripper one, I do remember. It is good. It's a good one. So the Peggy one I haven't seen, but the Jack the Ripper one, because I don't know if that's on the box set. Hold on. Got it right here. It only has 10 episodes in this box set. I don't think the Peggy one...
Oh, curious.
I think the Peggy one was like the pilot, and it ran as a part of another show. So I don't think... Let's see... Yeah, it's not on here. So,
which kind of a bonus episode then.
Yeah, so in a way, it's a bonus episode. So... I don't know what that one's about, so that'll be a mystery and that'll be fun. But the episode that's coming up is, I don't think Karloff actually plays a role in it. Spoiler alert. Just to go ahead and kind of give it away now, I don't think he plays a part, so it's kind of sad. But we'll survive. He's still going to be our lovable narrator, as always. So, yeah, I mean, The Veil overall, it's been an interesting show. It's ups and downs. There have been some really solid episodes and some really, well, I wouldn't say really, like just some middling episodes. I wouldn't say any episode has been bad,
Right. Yeah, I don't think any of them have been terrible.
That was definitely the worst one, in my opinion, that we've seen. So
this one?
Yeah, this one for sure. I think.
I don't know. I think the idea of like seeing a ghost that tells you to do something while you're flying a plane, that's interesting, but did they do that much with it in this? I don't know.
Don't think there wasn't really
the payoff. I mean, that's really been the problem with a lot of these, is that the payoff just doesn't really feel worth it.
Not really. The payoff isn't worth it. And I think part of it is because the setup just isn't like, but I think now in hindsight, I get it a little more. Like, starts off Karloff is telling like his son, like, don't be afraid, and then like he's having a nightmare, so it's clear he's like afraid of something. So I guess like he was afraid of the fact that felt like he was guilty for his friend's death, and then his son helps him figure out that he's not responsible. And so I guess it just takes a lot of figuring to get there, honestly. Like,
yeah,
it's kind of hard to get that. It wasn't really laid out very well. I don't know.
Oh well.
We'll get Jack the Ripper next week, so that'll be fun. Until then, you got another exciting episode of the Mainstream on deck this Friday. Got a wonderful creature feature in store for everybody for our Friday night. The Giant Gila Monster, which is a companion film to The Killer Shrews, which we saw in season 2. This is a companion film, and as always, Evan's going to be bringing us a wonderful cocktail to pair with the evening's film in a little segment which we call...
What were you drinking?
What were you drinking?
So this week, sometimes whenever I go to look up these drinks, I think, man, there is no way I'm going to be able to find something pertinent to the film And I thought that this time, and boy, was I wrong, because I found something in about 60 seconds flat. This week's drink is the Gila Monster. No idea why it's called that, but here we are. It's made with vodka, gin, rum, some melon liqueur, triple sec, sweet and sour mix, and topped with orange juice. So we've got some new flavors. We haven't tried some of these things.
Bit on my recipe thing, on the recipe you sent me, topped with orange juice. Oh shit!
Right? Yeah. It says mix all the ingredients in the shaker and top with orange juice.
Oh no! Okay. So I posted on our Instagram page, which. If you don't, you can follow us at Scream Stream Show. Yes, I missed it. Because I was looking here on the recipe list, and it's like 1/2 ounce vodka, 1/2 ounce gin, 1/2 ounce rum, 1/2 ounce melon liqueur, orange juice, 1/2 ounce triple sec, 2 ounce sweet and sour mix. So like it has the ounces of everything listed, and then just orange juice in there threw me off. And I didn't read.
Yeah, this recipe is not exactly formatted.
I didn't read it
perfectly clearly.
If you look at the Instagram page, just top it with orange juice, because that'll actually make it taste really good. Because a lot of similar ingredients to last week's drink.
Yeah, there is definitely some overlap. We haven't had anything with sweet and sour mix though, so
no, this is gonna be our first time with that, so that'll be interesting. I think the orange juice there. This sounds like a good cocktail. I'm excited. I think it'll be
it sounds pretty good.
And
it goes to show you that there really just is a cocktail for everything.
Really is. I'm very surprised too. I wouldn't have expected you to find a cocktail called Gila Monster. But it's perfect. It's absolutely what the doctor ordered, and
if you really want to make it perfect for the film, maybe just make a big batch, put it in a punch bowl. You got a giant Gila Monster.
Ooh, giant Gila Monster. Yummy. I mean, it sounds delicious. I'm very excited for it. Last week's drink was pretty good, so I have a feeling like. This seems like along the same line, so I think it'll be pretty delicious. And a good pairing with a nice cheesy monster movie, which this certainly is. Because, I think this is a little closer to a giant monster movie as you would think of most immediately, like Godzilla or a King Kong. We're getting a giant Gila Monster here, like Killer Shrews, which is the companion to Gila Monster. Just giant shrews when they only end up being the size of a dog. It's still not really super.
Yeah, doesn't quite feel the same.
But a giant Gila Monster that's supposed to be the size of like a fucking house, like. Okay, sign me up. And it's really cheesily done. I'll just go ahead and tell you a lot of terrible model work. So I think we're in for a lot of fun.
Have we had any like giant monsters?
It depends on if you count the Killer Shrews as giant monsters or not.
Okay. Other than that, though, no, I don't think so. We've had a lot of like animal human hybrid or we had the insect human hybrid with Wasp Woman, but we haven't had just a good classic giant monster.
So this is gonna be our first classic giant monster movie, so it should be a lot of fun. I'm very excited. This is one like I hadn't really seen Killer Shrews until we watched it. But Giant Gila Monster, I vividly remember watching around like 8 or 9 years old. And even then just being like, this is ridiculous. And I haven't watched it since then. So it should be a lot of fun. I think we're in store for a treat, which is perfect for October. So... And always good.
Sounds great. Looking forward to Friday.
So join us. You can join us on Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern time on YouTube or on Twitch. You can catch past episodes on our YouTube page as well. You can find us on the socials, on Twitter and Instagram at ScreamStream Show. Let's see, anything before we close out tonight, Evan?
You know, who would have guessed that seeing a ghost would prevent a nightmare?
Who would have guessed that would, maybe, I think it just goes to show, if you got a monster in your closet, talk to it. Maybe it'll help you solve whatever anxiety is actually keeping you awake at night. And maybe
the real monsters are inside.
They are. And on that note, until Friday, sweet screams, everybody.
And to all, a good fright.